Hello, 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 and welcome to Green Voices. Today we're chatting with Lauren Fowler, a creative magic maker, somebody that infuses all her artwork with and all her creations with a touch of magic or a sense of wonder, something that you want to have on your walls and in your home and everywhere, anywhere, everywhere you see it. Like if you, yeah, on your phones, on your screens, just because the artwork it does evoke some wonder. So Lauren, you've been doing what you've been doing for a very long time now, 10, 15 years, something that you started.
Oh,
Okay, and I'd like to know what's your journey been like and where you're going and what's your sense of purpose?
wow, what a huge question. Um, let's start at the beginning. So I went to AAA School of Advertising. That's where I honed my craft, as they say. And then straight from there, went into a job doing web design. Yeah, I was a junior web designer. And then I was like, why am I here? I think I just panicked after college and I was like, I must get a job. It's that my parents were like baby boomer mentality. They're like, you need to get a job and then stay in that job forever. So I was like, okay. So I stayed there for 3 months, hated it so much. And I was seeing a therapist at the time and she was like, why don't you just quit? I was like, no, I can't quit. I have to stay and work hard. And she's like, you don't have to. And I was like, okay. So I quit and then I was a waitress. And I worked at a little shop on Long Street. And I started making like little button brooches, and I had something called a scarflet of O'Hara, which is like a tiny little knitted scarf. I started making, painting gift cards by hand and selling those. And then I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to be an illustrator. I think this is what I'm going to do. And started telling people I was an illustrator. They're like, who are you illustrating for? I'm like, just anyone, but mainly myself right now. Yeah, and then back then the magazines were a huge thing, and Real Simple were the first magazine to pick me up. They were so great, and Elle Decoration, and then I started getting like a little name for myself, and just like going out and giving people my business card. It felt so grown up and cool. Yeah, and then slowly started building up a portfolio, working with agencies, and yeah, so I've been doing that for 12 years now, which is quite a slog, but also amazing. And I think the thing is with freelancing, you keep like waiting until you like make it, but you never actually like make it. Like it's just it's the journey that you're on. And where I am at the moment is I'm still enjoying doing illustration for clients, but no longer graphic design. The graphic design doesn't like thrill me anymore. So I'm letting that go. And now I'm focusing more on illustration for clients. But where my real magic is lying is illustrating for everyone. So that's my prints and my online shop. And I'm very passionate about cross stitch and haberdashery in general. And I want to share that craft with everyone as well. So that's especially like this year with COVID hitting and everything, like a lot of people are taking like online shops and online workshops, and like a lot of online tutorials and things like that. It's like just become like more of a thing that you do. Like I know for myself, I've taken, I think I've did about like 7 online courses this year, and it's just so great because you can go at your own pace. It's something that you can do when you want to do it. It's not like when I run my live workshops, it's that afternoon only. Like a lot of people are like, oh, can't you make it this day or that day? Or so that's what's so cool. Like now at the workshops, I'm going to run one live, and then from there make it passive, and then you can buy it and follow the course at your leisure. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, so you say it's Skillshare. So you're going to show somebody like me could log on to your channel, or how would I find you?
So at the moment, I'm doing an online shop. An online workshop on my online shop. So that like you buy as a product, and that will be the first course I'm launching is a how to create your own cross stitch pattern. So I sell the cross stitch kits, and then that price includes you getting the kit delivered to your door, and then the live date that we'll do the Zoom together. I'll show you how to create your own pattern and how to cross stitch at the same time. And then you'll have that video afterwards to go back to and check And then people can buy that video afterwards along with the kit. Or there's also an option where you can just buy the workshop if you want to go and get your own materials and everything. And then after that, I'm launching the mandala drawing workshop, which I'm very excited about. I haven't even told anyone about that yet, but I'm very excited about it. Not that I tell you.
Oh, that is
and yeah, so I think that's going to be really exciting and fun. And that one I'm going to do as a pre-recorded workshop that it doesn't have to be live or anything. And what I like about the workshops that I've done in the past is that they turn into something so much more than just what we're there for. Like it just turns into like a gathering, and most of the time it's women. So it kind of turns into this space where like women are helping one another. At my last workshop, there was a quilter there, and she showed us all how to make a cool quilter's knot. And like there's just lots of like sharing, and it's a chilled vibe, and we're there to learn. So no one feels like they need to know something, or it's not like a seminar or anything. And it's just like such a lovely, like supportive space.
It's a place where we can all come together and learn something new. And so you say it's a Zoom, an open place where everyone's together, and you see each other, you can interact with each other. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just a video recording, it's something that you're participating in as well. So it's an experience.
Totally, yeah. And if you have any questions, you can have questions as well. And like most of the time, if like someone asks a question, like someone else is wondering the same thing or doesn't feel confident enough to ask, and maybe it's not something I've even like that hasn't crossed my mind. So yeah, that's what I like about the live sessions.
So what got you into cross stitching? Is it something that you grew up doing or later on?
I don't think they do needlework at school anymore, but I did. In junior school, we did needlework, and that was the first time I did cross stitch, and I was terrible at it. Like my crosses were all a bit like, ooh. But I loved it so much. We had to make like, it was a little checkered, little gingham cover, like a cushion cover, and we did all the X's along there, and then embroidered like little flowers in between, and like we had a whole design and everything. And what I liked about it was that you could see like when you make a mistake with cross stitch. It depends where you're at. With that, it was fine because I could see where I went wrong and kind of change it. But with like knitting, for example, if you've got this like a hole somewhere, it's like, oh my God, it's a little bit harder to fix. Whereas the cross stitch, I feel like you just like cut that little section, like pull it out. Unless it's something centered, which has happened to me, you get like halfway through and realize the entire thing is off center. And you're like, I'm just going to make the letter E slightly longer.
Okay, so it's something that you did during primary school, and then you picking it up and you almost like modernizing it, because I know my grandmother is a big cross stitcher. I mean, she's done this entire tapestry piece. It's amazing. And you need extreme patience. I have none of that. So
you will if you come to my workshop.
Patience is not my speciality. And I find it is something where you almost have to, it's a beautiful thing to do. So when I bought one of your kits to give to my husband, because he has the most amazing patience and he makes the most amazing, like he can sew, hand stitch, and he can sit from the beginning, almost methodology, like slow and steady, and finally at the end you see this amazing piece of art that you made, you stitched. Totally. And that's quite rewarding to get to that.
Yeah, it really is. And I think as people, we just like want to race to the end, we're like going to get to the finish line and like, finish it, glue it together, hang it up on the wall and be like, done. But the actual beauty in it is the process, is learning the skill, is taking that time to stitch, because you can't multitask when you do it. Otherwise you're going to make a mistake and then have to redo it. So it forces you to be present, which I really like. And it forces you to just be there with yourself, which I think is like the most important part. And we've lost that along the way. Like, now a lot of people are, when you're like, I'm just going to relax quickly and like play a game on my phone or something like that. Like you don't get anything from that. You just have more screen time. So I think with the cross stitch, it's something that you can go back to, pick up, work on, and you can kind of see your progress as you go. And once you've finished, you can look at it and be like, oh, remember when I was cross-stitching that thing, and this is what I was going through at the time. Like, it's kind of like a little time capsule in a way. I mean, the only thing you can do while cross-stitching is, listening to a podcast or music and watching a movie. But like, yeah, that's it. But even like your thoughts, like it's like a time to just sit with yourself, but you also feel productive because your hands are doing something.
Yeah.
So it's like you're keeping your body busy and your mind gets to like just wander, and you know, it's really nice.
Yeah, so I see it as, you know, we live in a marshmallow brain society where everything is instant gratification. I want to go and I want to buy something and I want to hang it on my wall immediately, or I want to feel that quick gratification. Whereas I think there is definitely a movement towards a slower pace and having an acorn brain where we plant seeds, we nurture it, we grow our minds, we learn new skills. And a lot of people are almost very hungry for that. We want more satisfaction from the processes of doing things.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
Yeah, so that's definitely something I'm speaking with a couple of other creative individuals and seeing how, yeah, their process as well is, you know, it's a journey. And as you said before, it's like you always want to be there, but you're never there. It's a constant feeling of progress. Is it progress or is it growth, or is it?
It's growth. Definitely growth for me. Yeah.
Okay. And
yeah, and learning things along the way, and like, you know, finding different ways of doing things.
And so you learned a lot from online courses on skill sharing and workshops. Is that local or are they international? Or where do you find your?
They were all American. I think the courses that I did were not to do with anything kind of like practical. They were all business related. So they were, I found a spiritual teacher this year, which was really cool. So I've been doing a lot of her courses. Her name's Everest Asher. And I found through her, Denise Duffield Thomas. She's an amazing, actually she's Australian. She's an amazing woman. She's an author. She's got a book called Get Rich, Lucky Bitch and Chillpreneur. And she's great. She's like, the way I got the book on Audible, and the way she speaks, it's like talking to a friend. It's like a really long WhatsApp voice note. But yeah, she's amazing. And so she's a money mentor. And then there's Susie Ashworth, who I've just, I'm in the middle of a course with her at the moment called the Wealth Frequency Playbook. That's what it's called. Yeah, it's a 21-day course I'm doing with her. So a lot of the stuff that I've done this year is around personal growth and women in business and getting more comfortable with money and talking about money as well. I think in South Africa, it's like such a thing. Like no one wants to talk about money. No one wants to talk about how much money or how little money they're making. And then everyone just wants to focus on like, you know, on the divide, you know, on the like the extreme poverty and the extreme wealth. I had someone message me the other day about that, and I was like, just focus on yourself. That's literally all that matters. And then once you get yourself sorted out, then you can help others. It's like there's no other way to do it. Stressing about people in need doesn't help them, and does, you know, and vice versa. So like, you know, when I say vice versa, it's the same thing. Like you don't worry about like what other people are spending their money on. Like when you see someone who has lots of money or know someone who has a lot of money, a lot of the time it's jealousy, but it doesn't come up as jealousy. They're kind of like, well, I can't believe she's making that much money and she's, you know, buying herself that, I don't know, car or hat, or like she should be giving it to charity. It's like she has her own money and she made that money and she can spend it however she wants. So something I've learned from my spiritual teacher is whenever you see something like that you want, you just say mine's on the way. It's a message from the universe saying that thing is available to you and it's on the way if you want it.
The abundance of the universe is yours. Anything you ask
for. And Ruby says what you want also wants you. Exactly. So like that's the whole thing with desire as well. A lot of people feel bad to have desires. They're like, no, it's bad to desire something for myself or something for my family when others have less than we do. But the thing with desire is that the thing that you are desiring or that you want wants you just as much as you want it, and it's pulling you towards it. It's just us that we're getting in the way.
Yep. No, that's my one of my favorite role models as females as Audrey Hepburn, and her whole philosophy was make as much for yourself, do as much for yourself as possible, and then when you reach 50, put a purple hat on and go and help others. And I'm waiting for 50.
Love it.
And then I will put my purple hat on and I will help others. But right now,
oh my God, amazing.
I'm still busy nurturing myself.
Put your oxygen mask on first. That is the rule.
Exactly.
Then you can help others.
And then you can help your children
first. Failing.
Sure. So it's been quite an awakening almost for you. It's a
yeah.
And for you now, from waking up to that, you've seen a certain journey, you've seen a direction, or are you still? Because one of your sayings was "lost is a place too," and that always intrigued my mind because I love that nowhere place, that nowhere land. There is
totally, and that was the name of my company for the longest time. It was it this year or last year? This year's felt so short and so long at the same time. I think it was earlier this year. I rebranded to by Lauren Fowler. So I've dropped Lost as a Place too. I feel like it just wasn't like I wasn't connecting with that space anymore. Like I didn't feel like I wanted to focus on this lost place. Like I do still feel that loss is a place too. Like it does have it still resonates with me on some level, but I mainly feel like I wanted to like move that name on, and I didn't want to be associated with the word lost or being vague or not knowing anything. So I rebranded under just my name. Okay. And I kind of like have packed that away now in like my past self, which feels good. It served me for the time it was there. It's now a cross stitch kit, so you can buy it, a cross stitch kit. And it's a great little saying, but it was actually the name of my specialist in college, my final project that I did. And the whole idea of it was about do we still have phone books? I don't know if phone books are still a thing, but we don't have a landline anymore. So my thing was that you could like find a phone book and like open it up onto a page, find a name, and then write that person a letter. And it was about connecting people who don't know one another over an analog kind of system. So I made these little writing templates, and I made these little animations of people going to the post office. I was obsessed with going to the post office. I'm not obsessed with it anymore, let's put it that way.
It's wonderful, those little memories that you have, and those little treasures that you put so much meaning and so much purpose and so much energy into it, and it makes something magical in you. And I love that. And then you take it on to the next one. So for me, it sounds like you're becoming a businesswoman, a lady that you own your name. You've got your name as a brand now. You've taken ownership of that, which is great, because you have got a recognizable name, somebody that if you mention Lauren Fowler, people know you. So it's great that you've taken ownership of that. And now it's all about marketing and then what is that about?
And more, and I feel like before I was also kind of hiding behind the name as well. I was like, oh, it's the brand. And sometimes I'd say like we, and I'm like, it's just me. There's no one else here. I'm like, us, the shop. And now I'm just like, no, I am selling this thing. I have created this thing. And it's more about sharing the artwork that I make now with people. Like every time, like, because I do a lot of the things myself. So I buy the paper, I get it printed, I bring it back home, I sign each one by hand. Sometimes someone packages for me, but most of the time it's me. So that process, like from drawing something to creating it, finishing it on Photoshop, printing it and everything, it's kind of like an extension of myself. So it's like a kind of piece of me that I'm but selling to people. Like you can buy essentially my energy and my ideas. So that's where I'm at the moment, because before I was just like, it's just cute stuff for your walls and like love you to the moon and back and a little fox and things like that. And now, I mean, I still love that stuff and I still love creating things for kids. But for the new stuff I'm doing now, it kind of feels more like imbued. And when I'm doing the artworks, I feel more like in a zone when I create them. Like I'm very intentional about what I'm doing. So I think there's been an energetic shift in how I create now.
Okay, so when you talk about, you speak very much about your creative process, but for your marketing side of things and reaching an audience, a a greater audience can obviously be reached online. How do you reach that? What is your process of speaking to the world?
So the one thing that I struggled with, again with the previous brand name, was that I kind of didn't know how to speak to people from that space. Like, obviously, I'm sure that you follow me on Instagram, and on my stories, I'm very like, bah! And like, I'm like swearing, and I'm telling you about my day, and I like really bring you in. And then I reined that in for a bit, because I was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of people that are seeing this. And I was like, oh, okay. And then, but now I've brought that into my shop space as well, and into my workspace, because I'm the same person. Like, they're not separate. Like, I'm still the same person doing that work. Do you know what I mean? So I've brought my entire personality into the brand and sharing from that place. And like, you can't go wrong with that, because people can tell if you're lying, or they can tell if you are not like using your frequency. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a lot of, I know people are like very into this whole like vulnerability thing right now, but I mean, it's a thing because it's a thing. What is the lady's name? Brene Brown. She did that TED talk on vulnerability, which is so beautiful. But people can tell when you're being authentic, and people can tell when you're being fake. And I think that's, yeah. So I've always been myself. I think I maybe tried in like my early 20s to be like a cool person, but like it just like failed, because my real self would just show and like leak out in all kinds of weird ways. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't be bothered. I'm just going to be myself. So I feel like I've been in that space for so long, that I don't really worry about the marketing that much, because I'm just like, here's the thing. If you want to do the thing, do the thing. Here's the artwork. If you want to take it, if you don't, bye. Maybe I'll create something else that you like. I don't know. But yeah, I tried also creating for people. It doesn't work. I have to do it from what I want to create. And I know that is a partnership with like the collective energy anyway. So, wow, that was so woo-woo, but yeah.
And you speak a lot about other people. Is it through collaborations as well? Do you join hands with other fellow creators or artists or designers locally, internationally?
I haven't done any I've done one collab this year with Michelle Levine, is that it? Yeah. She had she was Brand Slut on Instagram. Now she's Michelle Levine. And I did this abracadabra print earlier this year. And then I sent it to her and I was like, do you think this is cute? Like, do you think I could do something else with it? And she's like, yes, we should make a whole bunch of different words with it. And we should do this and that and this. And I was like, oh, okay. And then what was cool with that is that because we collaborated on it, she also marketed it for me. Because I think marketing your artwork is one of the hardest things to do as an illustrator, or even as an artist, because you're like, here's this thing that I created was like my soul. Hope you like it. You don't like, if it doesn't sell, then you're kind of like, okay. Tiny fail. But yeah, holding things lightly is like so important in that space. But yeah, coming back to the collaboration, I haven't done any collabs. I would love to do a collab actually with Amy Ayanda. We've thrown that idea around, so I would love to do that. Because she's very like free and paints, and there's lots of color, and I'm like very specific, lots of lines, very tiny, black and white. And with her stuff, it's just like blah, and I think that together would look quite cool. And then it's not really a collab, but I've signed up with Society 6. I don't know if you know who they are.
Head of Society 6. I don't know where. I might be
probably from Amy Ayanda. She sells on there. So it's an American-based company,
yes,
and so it's like very much up in the northern hemisphere there. Yeah, but you can put your artwork onto like different things, which is so cool that you can see it on like a poof and a pillow and a duvet cover and a tapestry and a mirror and a clock.
Mel was speaking about it. Our previous speaker on Green Voices,
really?
She's also on Society 6. So that's where I heard it.
Yes, see?
She does background.
Yeah, so it's great. So that's quite nice to just see your art on like a different
medium
surface, like it's more like surface design. And what's nice about that as well is that like you can see how different things are going to work out on those mediums, because obviously as like a business owner as well, like getting capital together to like run something like that, because people are like, you should do duvet covers, and I'm like,
No.
actually I looked at it because we my other business, do you know about our book, the Florence and Watson book?
No.
No. Ooh, this is a great little segue into this. So
Okay.
we looked at doing kids duvet covers, but yeah, it's just like, man, you got to buy like a massive roll of cotton and then like choose which way you're going to print on it, and then they charge per like I think by the detail and the space in between or something, and then we worked it out and we're like, wow, it's going to be like the most expensive duvet cover in the world.
No wonder we printed in India.
Exactly. But yeah, there is an amazing place in Epping that do the printing. I think they're in Epping. Anyway, they're like the people, everyone prints there. If you need to see anyone printing anything on any fabric, they're all doing it, that guy. But yeah, Florence and Watson is our children's book, which I'm super excited to tell you about since you don't know anything about it. It's a children's book. It's a children's theatre production, and my two business partners are Rob Van Vuren and Danielle Bischoff, which is his wife.
Rob Van Vuren, and okay.
Yes. So Rob and his wife wrote the books, and then I illustrated them both. The first one is Florence and Watson and the Sugar Bush Mouse, which is all about Petal, special little mouse who gets left out and then eventually saves the day. And then our second book was The Pangolin Mystery, which I absolutely adore. I love that book so much. It was like such a drawing challenge because everything was at night. So I was like, how am I going to do black lines artwork in like a dark? And I was like, oh yeah. I ended up just dropping the outside lines. But yeah, I loved that book. And then our third book is going to be about the sea, which I'm super excited about because they live out in the Southern Peninsula and they go to those beautiful rock pools all the time. And that same little beach where the Octopus Teacher was filmed. And yeah, I mean, I watched that and I was like, guys, I'm ready. I'm like motivated. I'm inspired. Give me parts of the book to draw now. So yeah, that's really exciting. And then our producer on all of that is Sibin Gessi. I don't know if you know him. He's also an MC and just general fabulous man. And yeah, and then we've got a children's play that goes with it, which we've run at Grahamstown for a few years. Ooh. We did it at the Cork Bay Theatre. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait until theatres are back.
Yes, good. Back on as well. Yeah, they do some good ones there. But now, where do you find this book? Is that something online or?
Yes, so we have a website, florenceandwatson.co.za, and then we also have it at the following stores: Fabricate in the Garden Centre, Present Space in the Lifestyle Centre, Tenga Tenga in Noordhoek, the Book Lounge in the City Bowl,
my favorite,
and then in Joburg, what are they called? It's like Scoobies. Is it called Scoobies?
I don't know.
Joburg people will know what I'm talking about. I think it's called Scoobies. Okay. It's something like that. But they also stock our book. But yeah, so, and then from next year, hoping to get, we self-published the book. We were like, oh, we're going to self-publish and we're so cool. And then we're like, oh, we don't have a distributor. And that's the thing with, if you publish with a publishing house, they also do the distribution. And you can't just like take your book to Exclusive Books. They're like, no. Need a distributor. Yeah, so we got to get back on that. But in the meantime, yeah, we'll just post it to you, and we always throw in a bunch of little stickers and fun things for the kids as well. So I always think it's better to buy something straight from the business.
And then would you also not buy it from Take-A-Lot or Loot or one of the online shops, or do they also? I
actually tried to get it on Take-A-Lot, and I need to follow up with them again. I think maybe our application just got lost.
Yeah,
in the ether. Yeah, I signed up with them like 2 years ago and I just haven't followed it up again.
This year they've been very supportive. They've been like saying to small businesses, they're saying, come. Yeah, so you should, and starting your own like shop and then selling from there. So apparently they've been very good, very helpful.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, and I just did a social media course earlier this year, and someone in that course said the same thing. They were like, I don't have an online store, but I sell on Take-A-Lot. And I was like, oh. And actually my client as well, Naturals Beauty, she's a cosmetic brand I do work for. She's also just gone on to Superbulous and Take-A-Lot, because I think they're now.
Oh, they're joining. Yeah, I suppose they're ready for Amazon. Amazon's
Yeah.
about they're here. Oh, so you got a book. You like Oliver Jeffers. He's my favorite, like New York illustrator, and the penguin. His journey.
No, I love his
Love
stuff.
Oliver
And
Jeffers.
his studio is so beautiful as well. Have you seen his studio?
Oh yeah, and
Oh my God, like a vision.
I know. What a beautiful mind as well. So I'm gonna, first thing is, as soon as we finish this conversation, I'm gonna be straight onto that website having a look. Get my hands on that.
The whole world. And Florence and Watson are their two honey badgers, which are like, when Rob and Danny told me that, I was like, honey badgers. I was like, aren't they quite vicious? And they were like, yeah, they're like pretty badass. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I had to look at them and I was like, how am I going to draw these guys?
Just on the page, they do not like to be trapped. They will.
No, but they're amazing escape artists. They're phenomenal.
They had one at the World of Birds in Hart Bay, and they just pace up and down on the cage, and there's so many places you can just see. There's a hole there, there's a whole patch there, because he's been escaping. What a shame. So they're they're just wonderful.
Yeah, they're great. But yeah, they look very sweet, and they're like got their little, like, Florence is, she's the only animal. Florence and Watson are the only animals, because they're the narrators. They're kind of like humanized, so they wear clothes, and they have a little caravan that they live in. But then everyone else is just like an animal. They're all just kind of, I don't want to say naked, because they're not naked. They've got their fur and stuff, but like they're not like humanized essentially. But yeah, I mean, we've got an audiobook as well, which is super cute, because Rob does all these voices, and what was really important for us was that everyone has a voice. So like Porcupine is like a very Afrikaans little porcupine, and he's very cute and he speaks like this. And then Buffalo is kind of like, hello everyone, I'm Buffalo. And then Henry Hardera is like very like hoity-toity. And then Lula Giraffe is a Xhosa mama. And like he's got like a voice in there, and Petal's just like this shy little thing. And then we've got like the lion is like kind of like a bro, and he's like, hey brah, what's up?
Hey brah.
As well. So like there's like, you know, because there's so many accents in South Africa, we wanted to have that in there as well, so everyone could kind of like relate. Yes. So yeah, the audiobook's fun for that.
And then soon there'll be a game as well that we can play, the children can play, and then so much to do.
Funny that you say that, because earlier this year we did some work with the Learning Trust, which were such a dream job. I worked with them, and we used Florence and Watson as like like the world and the narrative of Florence and Watson as something to put out, like a little like worksheet book during COVID. So they printed them all, and they distributed them for free to kids in the communities. And they had these like there was a game on the inside. So there's a back cover with like important phone numbers and things. And then on the inside of the cover, it was full color print. And on the inside was a game. And it was like, I think the first one was kind of like a snaky game like that. And it was kind of like, if you like wash your hands, you can like get another go. Like it was all like COVID related, and like how to stay safe and stuff. And then we did that in, I think it was 5, including English, I think 6 languages in the end. We did, for the Western Cape was English, Afrikaans, Xhosa, and then further up it was Zulu, Setswana, and Sotho. Yeah, so it was 6, which was so great, and that's still running. So they're looking for sponsors as well. If anyone wants to sponsor a print run of the Florence and Watson workbooks, they must contact the Learning Trust. Ooh. And yeah, we did 2 of those, and now they're doing a 3rd one. But they're doing a 3rd one, so they're aiming them at different age groups. So now they're doing a 2nd age group for a younger, I think it's the younger audience. Yeah, like a very small age, like I think between 4 and 6. And they're using, they're kind of spreading the love and using another illustrator for that to kind of create it's called the treasure box. That's what it's called. The treasure box world on that. So yeah.
So it's personal hygiene space, take care, using it in an illustrative and fun manner.
Yeah, so like the whole booklet is like, it's kind of focused on like learning life skills where you like when you're not at home, when you're not at school. So like there were things in there like, there was this cute exercise called Take 5, which was basically like literally a 5-second meditation. So like just telling kids it was called Take 5. We're like, do a Take 5. And you just sit and breathe in and out for 5 seconds. And then there was I think it's 5 bricks. And then there was like a crossword. And then there was so many activities. There were like sports related things and like making 10-pin bowling out of cans. And then there was another one called Tippy Tap, like how to make a little tap out of a 2-liter Coke bottle. You like put a straw in it and then you can like make a little hand washing station. So there were like lots of like crafts, movement, mind, learning something. And then the characters were kind of there to like kind of support you along the way, kind of like relating with, you know, like, I know it's hard that we can't hug our grannies right now, but we have to stay together. And so, yeah, it was a really amazing project.
Oh, that's cool.
And you can also download it, by the way, if you want to print it out at home. You can download it from the site, print it out, do it with your kids.
Hand it
it's
out
really amazing
in the neighborhood. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So for the whole COVID, was it quite something for you, or did you find yourself very productive during the time as well? You know, seeing yourself giving back into it.
Yeah, I mean, when it first happened, my work just like went dry. I was working with a company that I was doing some artwork for them for a new hotel that was being built. And then they kind of just like stopped talking to me. And I was like, okay. I was like, what? And then like everything kind of just like stopped and went very scary. And I was like, oh my God, like I did my tax for this year. And I think I made like 5,000 Rand that month. I was like, oh my God. But thank God, my husband got a job at the beginning of the year as a head of department at a local school here. So he had a salary. So that was amazing. But yeah, I freaked out when it first happened. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is really scary. And I was just like, okay, I'm just going to do what I can. And then I got this government job, which was amazing. So that was like, just like, you know, helped me a lot. Like I just sat down and like worked on that because obviously the deadlines were super tight on that as well. They were like, we want to get this done as soon as possible. Yeah. So that was great. I just threw myself into that. And then I had a like slight spiritual awakening and shaved all my hair off.
Oh,
casual.
As one does.
Yeah. Yeah. My hair was like down to here. Just super long. And then I was like, I've got to shave all my hair off. I have to start again. I just have to. And then I was like, just think about it for a week. It's a lot of hair. So I thought about it and I was like, I have to do it. And then that morning, washed it, toned it. It was like a beautiful ombre. It looked so amazing. Obviously the day I was going to cut it, tied up 4 ponies, cut them off, put them in a bag called hair. And then, shaved it a number 1. And then, now just before my birthday, I did this peroxide. I actually overtoned it yesterday. It's a bit purple.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so I went through a big hair journey.
As one does.
And I think this year just kind of made me look at what's important. I mean, like it did for a lot of people. And I just kind of like refocused my energy, like instead of like just going day to day and like reacting to things. And like, I really took it on to kind of like what do I want? How do I see things? How do I want to react to things happening in my life instead of just like reacting to them immediately, like thinking about something before I speak or before I answer. And then this past year in general has been a huge thing for me, was learning how to say no and being fine with just that, just no, because that's it. No is a whole sentence. No thanks. No, but thank you so much for that. But no. And it's like, especially when people invite you to do things, they're like, you know, would you like to do this thing? Or even with like work, that I'm like, I think about it and I'm like, wow, I really would not like to do that. And before I'd be like, oh, but I kind of, you know, I shouldn't say no to work. Like, oh, I'll just do it. And then it's like the hardest job ever. Like everything will go wrong. Like the work is hard to do. I don't want to do it. It's just like, it's not like the price is high for that. You know, it's not worth the money. So I've been more than happy to like spread out, like, and it's not that it's bad work. It's just like work that doesn't inspire me. So that's been really nice to also be able to pass jobs on to other people who have been looking. So I can't remember if you asked me a question or if I was just waffling.
No, like how it started and then where you are now. And I think for you, like to plan ahead and to move towards something, that's not something that you do. It's more you find your way into it. And And so now finding your way into something, you're learning more about who you are and where you want to, how you want to develop this, where you want to go from this. Which I think it's a great. I mean, that's maturity in a way. We can go now, because I remember.
I just turned 35. I'm a woman now.
I won't say how old I am. I remember back, what was this, 2008 maybe, when, or 2009 or 2010, when I first met you, and you came and you said, all right, I'm going to speak at the Creative Mornings, and you came with a piece of paper and you just spoke.
Yes, I did. I was so freaked out. I was like, okay, I'll just write everything down and I'll just read it from the paper. So, I mean, I was perfectionist mindset. So I was like obsessed with only doing like the right thing and being fully prepared. Like now with this, I was kind of like wandering around the house and then heard the noon gun and I was like, oh shit, open up the Zoom. And then I was like, wait, I didn't prepare. And then I was like, but you didn't have to prepare. You're talking about yourself.
Yes. Be yourself. Be you.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Exactly.
Everybody
have
else.
all the answers.
Okay. And then, so now as well, you're still a young lady. You're not quite.
I'm so young. I'm a baby. My husband is like about to be 50, so I'll always feel like a baby.
Well, yeah, they say like you're always as old as the person that you're feeling. So maybe you're not that young. And what advice would you give to somebody that's is also starting out, maybe 20, and they quite enjoy the whole illustration and design side of things? What advice would you give them so that they can navigate their way through this adventure that you're living?
It's so interesting because it's not that different from when I was 20 in terms of like the internet. I mean, it is like vastly different, but at the same time we had like, I could compare myself to people a lot. So like at the time there was something called Found with many F's. It was like Found, where which is where we'd go on there and like find different images and be like, that's cool. And that was the first time that websites came up with if you like this, you'll like that. So you don't go down these like long holes of like collecting images and being inspired by different stuff. But I think now with social media and like Pinterest and stuff, there's the opportunity to compare yourself to others is daily and like by the second. So, and that is crushing. Like, especially when you're starting out, you're like, well, I'll never be as good as that person, so why should I even try? So I think the main thing that I would suggest to people starting out, especially when you're looking for inspiration on how to start something or whatever you want to do, is to not look at the internet. Don't look for ideas on the internet, because you're just going to hurt yourself. So what I'd like to do is just kind of like cut off from that for like a day. I would like to say like, oh, I just don't do social media for a whole week, but that is literally so untrue. But I like to just take a break, like put my phone aside. I'll even put it on airplane mode and just be with the question of like why I'm creating the thing, and working on your own style. Like, even if it's something that you want to, like, say you were like, oh, I want to understand like how like stippling works or something. That's cool. Like, you can find out like how to do a skill. But I think, yeah, honing your own style is really, really important, because that's going to make you stick out and stand out from the rest. And it's also going to be the easiest thing for you to do, if that makes sense. Like, you're always going to be able to create that way, and it's only going to get better and better. Like, now I look at something I've done, 12 years ago, I'm like, shit, that's so cute. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't even think I can draw like that anymore. Like, it's my styles like changed so much, and I've got such a tight line now. Like, whereas before I had quite a wobbly line, now I'm like very structured. And that's when I have to go back to paint to try and get that, like, because paint and I are like not friends, but I try and make friends, and I'm open to new things. So yeah, and that's another thing, trying out different mediums when you get stuck, because I've been through many artist blocks, but then earlier this year was like, creating from a place of stress is very difficult, because in that space you feel super constricted, you don't feel expansive at all. So yeah, getting yourself into that mindset of like, openness, loose, free, don't expect anything from yourself, just play. It's very hard to get there when you're stressed. But But yeah, I think, yeah, so not, what have we done? Not comparing yourself to others. I know it's hard. I do it too. And then, yeah, like honing your craft and honing your style, or getting a style together. I think it's also fun to, you know, get other people's work and copy it and see if it speaks to you. See if you can do that style. Like I try to do some, this is a beautiful trend of these like arches with like palm trees and like pools and steps and things. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I can do that. Had a little go at it and I was like, nah, it's not my thing. So, I mean, you know, see how it speaks to you. You know, if it's something you could sit down and literally do for hours and not eat, not sleep, you could just want to work on that thing. Like that's me with a mandala. I'm just like, no, have to do it. I want to do it now. Like that's the feeling you're looking for, because that's God, essentially. That is like the creative force, like working its way through you. And you'll know it because you'll feel excited. You'll feel like I could do this like forever.
Yeah.
With, like no eating, no sleeping, no drink. I could just like do this thing. And that's when you know that you're on the right path.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. That's like that energy that just makes you alive. That beautiful energy.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, it's probably been like 15 minutes, and you look at the time, you're like, how did 3 hours go by?
Yeah. It's just absolutely wonderful. Lauren, it's always I could speak to you for hours and hours and hours. I always just feel so. Zoom never allows it. They only give you 40 minutes. Give me 2 hours. Yeah, that's terrible. So yeah, I've got to catch this recording because I don't want to lose it. So I want to say thank you, but definitely I think we need to have a follow-up. I want to go and have a look more at your the books and see some more of your work.
Yes.
We'll definitely do another follow-up, maybe in the new year, and then see where you're at and how's this book of yours, Under the Sea and the Octopus.
Oh, I'm so excited! Octopuses and seaweed.
Oh, exciting!
Nudie brand.
You have an amazing journey and an amazing outlook in life. So thank you for all your wonderful newsletters and always inspiring me. Thank you for coming to speak with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.